A couple weeks ago, it was April Fool's, April 1st, right? And I always try making a video around that time talking about it, and I just missed the mark. But I didn't see many like cool jokes, like fast food April Fool jokes, right? It was so frustrating because I was like, this is fun, this video I like doing. I'm like, I gotta do one. So I was like, you know what? It's still April, I can still do one. Let's take a look back at some older ones and see where the good stuff was. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fast Talk, the fast food review show where I talk about fast food, talk faster about it. If you like content just like this, if you want more what I call the menu style, which is more of a long form content video breaking down some weird fast food promotion or something like that, check this out. The playlist is popping up here. So this is an article thanks to Mashed that I found over on, well, the internet. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these better April Fool's jokes from years past. So there's no real, order of all of these, but number 1 or 17, I guess, Burger King launches the chicken fries shake. It's one thing to dip your fries into a milkshake to combine sweet and salty flavors, but it's another to blitz chicken fries into a whole milkshake. In 2016, Burger King decided to shock the world with its chicken fries shake, a strange and unappealing new menu item that offered dinner and dessert in a single product. Even if the public is clamoring for the latest in flavor blends, all things spicy, we're looking at you. An outlet as widespread as Burger King should exercise restraint. Fortunately, the chain was just making it merry on April Fool's Day with the stomach turning prospect. There's no telling how many diners were inspired enough to be proposed combination to try to make their own chicken fries shake in takeout bag and Vitamix. What is Vitamix? Or maybe not. We think it's best to let something this awful and convincing become a distant memory. I honestly like this idea. That is kind of a trend I've seen with like chicken and your milkshake, like fries on a shake. Was it Freddy's that did that similar thing? But also might have been April Fool's. Honestly, some of these you could make. Some of them are weird enough you could do. Wendy's removes Frosties from the menu. What is the notable thing of Wendy's? There's nothing really more notable to Wendy's. Wendy's is Wendy's. It'd be weird if they did get rid of their Frosty. The potential outrage of Wendy's eliminating its beloved Frosty from its menu didn't stop the company from alerting its fan base to the very idea. Sorry to say, but Frosty is out with the colon and the slash. The chain wrote on X on April 2025, if it isn't as the chain has anything else to offer as a dessert treat, so without the timeless soft serve cups, customers will be left to high and dry. Not to mention having to map out the path to the nearest Dairy Queen. They know Wendy's, the only thing good about their stuff is their Frosty. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief when it turned out this was just a tricky promotional gag designed to get people to talking, executed for April Fool's Day. Even though it technically took place on April 8th rather than April 1st, it was an opportunity for diehard Wendy fans to recognize how much they appreciate the fantastic Frosty, considering eye-popping number of Frosties the company sells each year and the slew of tempting new flavors it has introduced over time, like a Ghostbusters flavor is coming soon. It would be foolish of them to strike it from the menu. Dunkin' rebrands as donuts. I think this is funny and they should do this. It wasn't unreasonable for Dunkin' Donuts to drop the donuts and simply stick with Dunkin' when the menu expanded to include breakfast dishes and popular coffee drinks. So when the announcement revealed that the other brand was in the works, this time to rename the Operation Donuts, diners were more than a little perplexed. What would an operation that had coined the slogan America runs on Dunkin' up to the donut cart in such a drastic and seemingly unreasonable way? As it turns out, the company was smarter than that after debuting its totally real new name, not Dunkin'. Fessed up that it was nothing but a silly goof aimed at making April Fool's Day a more laugh-worthy occasion for the fans. I think this is funny. They should probably do this again. Del Taco collaborates on salsa-flavored mints with Tic Tac. Even if you love the fiery flavor of Del Taco's various sauces and its array of tacos and burritos, there's no real chance you enjoy them as breath mints. Is there? Well, that was the angle taken in 2024 when the fast food slinger advertised a corporate team-up with Tic Tac for a selection of salsa-flavored candy. The limited time containers would be called Del Tic Taco packs, which is a clever name, and would contain 60 mints with separate packs for mild Del Scorcho and Del Inferno just like the actual Del Taco sauces. The photo shared on Instagram looked real enough too, but with each flavor receiving its own color palette, thank goodness it is unlikely to team up with the revealed to be an April Fool's joke. That's also the weird thing. This year there's a lot more AI slop, and I think that's also why I didn't see very many interesting ones, because of how much AI slop there was. Jack in the Box cancels its Sourdough Jack. The Sourdough Jack is one of the most popular and enduring offerings at Jack in the Box, so the righteous indignation that resulted when the chain claimed to be discontinuing the one-of-a-kind sandwich, there was an uproar aplenty. Hate to sour your day, but sadly, I'm taking the Sourdough Jack off the menu. They should do this again, because how many people do sourdough? Blame it on everyone making all this. Be like, oh, all you white women made sourdough, so we're out. This is sad news for Jack in the Box and Sourdough Jack fans. Was short-lived when the company abandoned plans to eliminate the burger and admitted it was an April Fool's gotcha moment that was never anything more than a joke. I'm also wondering how many of these were actually jokes or were slip-ups that just happened to be around April 1st, and people are like, oh no, we want this day. Like, yes, we didn't get rid of it at all. This next one is so stupid. Burger King shows off the left-handed Whopper. It seemed like the Burger King had finally figured out how to address the needs of the left-handed customers when it proclaimed in 1998 that the left-handed Whopper would soon hit the menu. At last, those Southpaw fast food fans would be forced to adapt to the world of right-handers, would have a burger they would enjoy without making the usual adjustments. What adjustments? You're not alone. Everyone who read the press release was left scratching their heads, and now our burger was oriented towards any handedness at all. It's silly as the lore behind the left and the right Twix, which of the two tastes better. This is just, that's stupid. Arby's introduces Arby Parker roast beef themed glasses. This is almost as bad as the joke where in a soda review where I said it's Ruth Beer Gator Ginsburg. That's the level of the joke. America's roast beef stepped away outside the box. There should be a comma in there somewhere. For its 2018 April Fool's prank by revealing the latest promotion item, beef-themed glasses created by eyewear biggie Warby Parker. Images of the glasses showed frames designed to look like the roast beef with the limited run name or Warby Parker, which again is the dumbest joke I've ever heard, almost as bad as my Ruth Beer Gator Ginsburg joke in one of my whatever root beer review it was. But surprise, surprise, this silly strategic connection was just a well-executed April Fool's joke that went too far as featured something called the onion ring monocle at select NYC Arby's locations. That's funny. Hardee's or Carl's Jr. promises a vegan tofu burger. There's no reason for a fast food restaurant can't introduce an alternative burger made with tofu, especially in such a vegan-friendly era. But not Carl's Jr. All places, I wouldn't expect that. Maybe McDonald's. Be really weird if they did. But when the fast food restaurant in question is Carl's Jr., a place where the sloppy, juicy beef is essentially the only game in town, there's bound to be an outcry for the carnivores in the room. So when the company came up with this $6 vegan tofu burger to expand its menu in 2011, a minor brouhaha ensued. How could a beef-devoted restaurant like Carl's Jr. betray its basic principles just to draw new customers? Well, beef fans should sleep soundly once again, and the company ensured that the plant-based shift was nothing more than a bit of April Fool's tomfoolery. That's also a really weird joke to make because of how many vegan options there are now and vegetarian options are in at restaurants. Papa John's promotes garlic sauce by the gallon. This is something they should do. I think they recently did announce something like this. Not a gallon, but like a bottle you could buy. If you're going to request more garlic sauce to dip your Papa John's pizza in, wouldn't it be more convenient to just buy the stuff by the gallon than having to order and open 1,000 of those little cups? Sounds pretty logical. But which is why pizza fans started salivating in 2017 when they heard the chain had to pull the trigger on a gallon-sized jug of the zesty, buttery drizzle. McDonald's unleashes the Micro Mac. Since you aren't always hungry for a full-size Big Mac, it's a smaller version called the Micro Mac. It seemed like a plausible move for McDonald's to make, but when the photograph of the candy-sized sandwich made the round in 2017, it became obvious that there was no real Micro Mac being added to the marquee. That's why they should call the kids' meal burger Micro Macs. Sly customers who dug a little deeper could tell something that might be off, even if the casual McDonald's fan knows that everything is bigger with the restaurant, not smaller. If you want tiny burgers, we'll take smaller bites. So the Micro Mac was discovered to be nothing more than a fool's hoax, rolled out with a polished execution. Burger eaters breathed a sigh of relief. Culver's unveiled the Curder Burger, an April Fool's prank that came true. Isn't it enough to order a side of deep fried cheese curds to go with your Culver's Butter Burger? The powers that be didn't seem to think so, or at least that was what they wanted patrons to believe when they introduced the Critter Burger in 2021. The new invention, with a buttery roll holding a giant patty-sized version of the crispy, chewy curds on top of a beef patty, minds were blown and appetites were wedded. Yeah, I love the Critter Burger. It's like a hardtack on a bun, but it's still good. This one was from a couple years ago. I remember this one. Little Caesars teases corn cob pizza crust. There are plenty of shady things about Little Caesars menu, but unfortunately, its corn cob crust pizza isn't one of them. The pie was an April Fool's prank that turned out to be turned more than a few stomachs. The photo alone, showing an otherwise delicious-looking pie stuffed with chunks of corn, still in the cob, accompanied by a 2-liter bottle of butter, was enough to make customers think the company had gone too far and in an entirely wrong direction. I would love to see this in some way, like Mexican street corn. I don't know why. Steak fillet. Chick-fil-A announces a steak fillet sandwich. You don't go into Ruth's. Minash, what is some of your grammar? Gosh darn it. You don't go to Ruth's Chris for chickens. What? You don't go to the Chick-fil-A for a steak. I'm missing a reference there. Naturally, the chain's April Fool's prank of 2012 that showed off a thick slab of steak on a classic chicken sandwich bun wasn't what fans of the restaurant were expecting. After all, this is the company that used cows holding signs that say "Eat more chicken" as advertising mascots. Yes, the steak fillet sandwiches ended up being a spoof item facetiously promoted by the company on Facebook for April Fool's Day. The gag had so much staying power that it was still being passed around almost a decade later. Honestly, I think Chick-fil-A should. We're at a point where I think they should. KFC introduced a special recipe toothpaste as a prank that becomes real and sells out. Yeah, it's like this and the gaming console with the chicken heater that was in it. You wouldn't really brush your teeth with toothpaste flavored like KFC's 11 herbs and spices, would you? The fast food restaurant certainly was certain that customers would get to the 2025 April Fool's joke that images started circulating of a tube with strange, savory dental care product. It was laughable at best and still nauseating at worst, and chicken fans eat it up like a 6-piece combo. Oddly enough, this turned out to be well received enough for the company to create real tubes of the KFC toothpaste as an extra promotional item, despite costing $13 a pop. Baskin Robbins sells the world's first invisible ice cream. It's bad enough that you have to pay premium prices for even a small scoop of Baskin Robbins ice cream, but when the company asks you to pay for the world's first invisible ice cream, you know something has slipped off the tracks. It's an obvious goof that no one could see possible other than the 2013 April Fool's joke it was intended to be. To make the idea of selling invisible ice cream an interactive experience, the Scoop Shop used an ingenious way to describe the flavor of invisible ice cream. Baskin Robbins located featured photo booth props designed like ice cream cones with cutout where the scoop would be, or should be. When the patrons held it up and looked through it, they could become a customized ice cream flavor of their very own. Each one especially selected available for a very short time. That's a very fun way to make it interactive with a store for your April Fool's joke. That's fun. That's better than just posting something about it. Raising Cane's partners with Cardi B for a beauty sauce. Maybe you're... I gotta take a drink after I mentioned Cardi B. Maybe you're willing to take beauty tips from a celebrity as glammed as Cardi B. Mostly plastic filler. But maybe there's a chance in the fast food universe where you'll be getting cosmetic advice from Raising Cane's. So the two names joined forces in 2025 to promote a new moisturizing sauce called Ipsy, used by the saucy rapper in the makeup tutorial. Fans of both entities were scratching their heads. Of course, there wasn't really such a thing, a dipping sauce-based moisturizing cream. It turned out to be a fast food April Fool's joke that was well-humored. Cardi B participated in, lending a bit of strange authenticity that helped sell such an outlandish proposal for everyone hoping to show up their T-zone to get a dewy glow. Don't bother looking for it, not even on the Raising Cane's secret menu. And the last one, Krispy Kreme produces a donut-scented perfume called La Original, which I love that. You may adore the scent of a Krispy Kreme donut shop. What would you want to smell like that yourself? The company bet that enough of its customers would love nothing better if promoted a Krispy Kreme perfume than an extra dimension to the lives of the donut lovers. Yes, it may make you hungry for donuts, but the perfume would also motivate you to make regular stops to your local Krispy Kreme for a 12-pack of fragrance inspiration. The outrageous Krispy Kreme April Fool's joke had the internet cracking up when it appeared in 2022 on the company's Instagram feed. It came complete with the image of a donut-shaped perfume bottle called La Original No 12. Photographed with a flaming red-hot background that looks like for Valentine's Day, it's the details that matter. Yeah, so was there a fun promotion in here that you liked? There's a couple of them that I enjoyed. I loved like petty stuff like the Micro Mac, like the calling it donuts and not Dunkin', or you had like the corn on the cob Little Caesars. There's a bunch of fun ones here. I like these. Again, this year's didn't feel fun. Again, I think the advent of AI slop also doesn't help. But like, I usually have fun doing this, so hopefully you guys enjoyed content like this. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite one was. Again, I think mine still has to be the corn on the cob, Little Caesars, or maybe the Critter Burger. But that's also a legit thing. And what other content would you like me to make in this vein? I've been wanting to do more stuff like this. CinemaCon just happened, so I'm actually working on another video like that, breaking down some of the fun popcorn bucket stuff and other food promotional stuff that'll be dropping for CinemaCon. Let me know down in the comments. Also, while there, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Guys, have a day.